Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Weekly Roundup. 2 in a row. We're doing better than we were at the end of 2024. So speaking of 2024, every year we try to produce an annual report that normally comes out like April-ish. So we'll be working on that report from 2024. We call it Insight. And then we also try to put out a budget infographic that helps explain the planned work for 2025. So we put out that budget infographic maybe like earlier this week. And what that does is it explains all of our major budget goals. And those goals are created by our internal leadership team, approved by our finance committee, and then the general Common Council approves the entirety of the budget. So you'll see on that infographic our goals. And then each one of those goals will show underneath it not all by any means, because the budget is over thousands of lines probably, to be honest with you, but it shows some of the major items that align with those goals. So on that, you're going to see things like investments in infrastructure. So we're planning in 2025 to do 3 miles of roads. You're going to see improvements to some of our neighborhood parks. So some of our neighborhood parks have a step-in, which first of all makes it really hard in the spring when it's wet and floods. Makes it pretty difficult also for accessibility. So you'll see some improvements to our neighborhood parks. We are going to be redoing our zoning code, which is an incredibly large undertaking. Our zoning code is a couple of decades old at this point. And here in the last handful of years, we've done a lot of work to really improve the experience that someone has in creating a business. Before we had this new process, it was maybe harder to navigate the city permitting process and meeting process. So what we've done is really create like a one-stop shop. You'll see our development manager is that person, and he works quite closely with our zoning administrator. So they've really done a lot of that operational improvement. And now one of the last pieces is just rehauling or overhauling our zoning code. So that's going to be probably more than a 1-year project. There will be opportunities for lots of public involvement at our meetings as that project gets underway, but the zoning code is our next big piece of improving that development opportunity here in Watertown. You'll also see on the budget infographic that we have been for last year and really a couple of years prior to that, but then really in earnest this year, preparing for our next commercial and industrial site. So last year we worked on surveying off the land and doing some initial environmental work. We've done the necessary environmental work that we need to do, and now we will be marketing our next commercial and industrial area. That is on the south side of town on Highway A, just to the south of Rock River Ridge, kind of across from Johnsonville and Watertown Hops and Rock River Labs over in that area. So we've been working on that next commercial and industrial area for a few years now. So it's exciting to be in 2025 at a point where we're able to market that site and get a new space for commercial and industrial development. Another development item that also is really a communication channel item as well is we're revamping our city website. We revamped it last in 2019. Prior to that, it had been some time. When I was on the Common Council, we had a brown website with a train on the top. I remember it clearly. And then we went to this form that we have right now. And, it's about 6 years later. And so we will be updating our city website. Some of that preliminary work is already underway. Another big piece of our budget that you'll see on that infographic is some supports for our public safety. So we'll have a new ambulance. We'll have a few new squads. Around half of our budget is public safety. And so obviously we had a large expense with the fire station, but we'll continue to work on apparatus and the necessary equipment that both police and fire need. As a reminder, these items and so much more can be found in our city budget that is on our city website. So you'll go under the finance department and then budget. This last year, 2025's budget that we approved was the lowest general fund levy adjustment in over a decade. So we're doing all of these things with very careful fiscal planning over the last handful of years, and that has allowed us to have no general fund levy increase for this 2025 budget, and that's the lowest in over a decade. So very grateful to have a wonderful Common Council and a wonderful leadership team that have allowed us to create really great goals, fund them, and do it with no general fund levy increase to our taxpayers. So great news there. If more questions about the budget, please reach out. There's not many of us that love geeking out over the budget, but I'm one of them, and so is our finance director. So if you have questions, please let us know. Not as exciting, but very, very impactful is the bridge. So we were supposed to have girder deliveries yesterday, Thursday, and today, Friday. We found out on Wednesday that that was not going to be the case, in large part because the concrete was not curing as quickly as it needed to in order for those to arrive. And I wish I could figure out a way to articulate the vastness of the operational components behind this project, but I think the easiest example is, these trailers and semis that transport these girders don't just, click at the snap of a finger and are available and can move. And so when the concrete wasn't curing fast enough, a decision had to be made that delivery wouldn't be made. And now because it had to be rescheduled and because of the cold weather, what was going to be a 2-day operation, yesterday and today, is now scheduled to be a 3-day operation. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Now, granted, Wednesday is going to be the longer day of those girders arriving. Thursday and Friday, I think it's only one apiece, so that'll be much more concise. But I am hopeful that they arrive next week, that the weather cooperates. We know that the concrete has now reached the strength that it needed to hit. So hopefully we are on track for the girders to be delivered next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's going to be cold this weekend, and so I wanted to mention a couple of opportunities we have here at the city. A few years ago, we started open gyms on Sundays during the wintertime, just as an opportunity to get out of the house and let your kids run around, you run around, get your teenagers out and doing something. And so on Sunday at Webster School, from 1 to 2:30, we try to keep it more family orientated, meaning that we don't have a full, 5-on-5 basketball game running full court. 2:30 to 4 is when we kind of reserve the space for that more fuller court teenager and up type activity. It's $3 to drop in at Webster School, Sunday, again, between 1 and 4. We are also doing free morning fitness classes. We've been doing them the entire month of January. Next week, Tuesday and Wednesday morning, 6 a.m. at the Senior and Community Center are the last two. So if you're interested in at least trying these classes, I'd encourage you to drop in next Tuesday or Wednesday morning. I also want to have you pencil in February 22nd from 6 to 8. This is going to be our annual candlelight hike at Brancourt Park. Hopefully it's much warmer for that evening than it will be this weekend. Silver Creek is still open, and it was busy last weekend. We went and there was people skating everywhere, hockey games. It was incredible to see so many people out and enjoying what the city has to offer recreationally in the winter as well. We are going to have the warming house open on Saturday only. Sunday it's supposed to be quite cold, potentially, I think maybe 15 degrees below zero with the wind. So we're not encouraging it on Sunday, but we are on Saturday. So from 1 to 4, the warming house will be open. We do have skates for rent at the warming house for $5. We have a lot more size-wise at the Senior and Community Center, and they're open today until 4:30. So if you need skates, 2 opportunities to rent those. And then I have confirmed that the skate trainers will be available on Saturday from 1 to 4. So these skate trainers are kind of like what you would see at Skate Express, just PVC pipe that people can use to kind of stabilize them as they learn to skate. We will have those available this Saturday from 1 to 4. Riverside Park bathrooms. I haven't talked about them in a little bit, but we do have more of an update to provide. We have continually been working to get the deficiencies corrected at the Riverside Park restroom. The most recent update is that we are working through the performance bond process. That means that if I were to put this outside of a city project, if you get in a car accident and an insurance adjuster comes to look at the damage of your car, that's kind of the position we're in right now. We have a performance bond adjuster, I'll say, coming or has evaluated content that we've provided so that we can get to a good position of getting the necessary repairs done to the building. For a reminder, the finishes just weren't up to the standard that we expect or that the industry expects from our opinion, and so we got the permission of the Public Works Commission to go down the process of working to get those fixed. And we tried a few different roads, and now we're at the road with the performance bond. So I'll provide more updates as soon as something more substantive happens in that arena. We are still aiming, and I was very clear with them, with the insurance company, we are needing those open by April. And so that is our intention. knowing that there's a lot of different avenues that need to come to the same ending point, but that is what we're aiming for. On the development front this week, we had a couple of new projects, different kinds, that we're very excited about. Hopefully very soon we'll be able to share much more information with you. We're continuing to work on housing and housing of all kinds, everything from single family to multifamily, dense multifamily to less dense multifamily, small lot single family, twin homes. You've heard me say it a million times, but we added another to the hopper this week, so we're glad to hear that. A lot of work is happening at Rock River Ridge. That's private property, so don't go on it. But we are going to hopefully have our media team get some footage for you, so you're able to see the public investment that was made in Rock River Ridge. So stay tuned for more on that. The fire station is going well. Everyone collectively, let's knock on wood. We've had just a tremendous experience with the contractors at that site and the project managers. Things are working and going very smoothly. We are still aiming for a late spring opening of that site. And then we'll have, I think, kind of early summer, we will have a public open house so that everyone can make sure they can see that. But if you haven't driven by, our apparatus bay doors are on, both the overhead and we do have the bifolding apparatus bay doors on our first out section of that apparatus bay. And so those are up and they look pretty neat to finally see those up. Last week, obviously, there was some questions around news of a potential move of WISPAC headquarters. The city has had a wonderful, long-standing relationship with WISPAC. During my time here, we've worked with them more than a few times, and this issue, potential issue anyway, is no different. Had great conversations with WISPAC, and we'll share more soon, but I do want to be able to reassure the public that we never forget about our local employers, large and small. We have a robust business retention and expansion program where we're making sure that we're connecting with those businesses to ensure that we're meeting their needs, talk about their expansion needs. I want to just be able to reassure the public that that's always at the front of our mind, and that as of, for the foreseeable future, I don't want to put words in WISPAC's mouth, but I was reassured there is no discussion about moving the manufacturing portion of WISPAC at this time. The potential project, it's not even a final project, a potential project is around more of the headquarters staff. So manufacturing at this point in time, not in the conversation. Again, I'm not speaking for them, but I do think it's important that the community know that those aren't things that just fall on deaf ears. Those are active conversations that we have kind of behind the scenes all the time with our business community. So hopefully we'll be able to continue to have great conversations with them and all of our employers here in the city. Okay, completely different topic, garbage. I want to just give you a reminder, especially with these cold temps and our incredible solid waste employees, we're asking for those garbage carts to be 3 feet apart. So we need your garbage cart 3 feet apart from your recycling cart. Maybe we have a good image that we can post on social, so maybe we'll get that back posted so that you have that reminder. And then a reminder as well that anything with a cord, like that's just the good general rule of thumb. Anything that has a cord needs to go to our street department yard. We have a wonderful chart on our website under Public Works, Street and Solid Waste that talks about things like batteries and extra cardboard or extra garbage, construction debris, furniture. There's a nice list that says what has to get sent to the street department yard, what has a fee and what doesn't. You can check that out on our city website. We are open at the street department Monday through Friday, 6:30 to 3:30. And then we do 4 Saturdays a year as well, obviously acknowledging not everyone can get there between those periods of time. All right, on the job front, we are in need still of a water utility technician and a water distribution technician. I want to pay special attention to our wastewater operations foreman. This is a position that is really important to our wastewater operations. So if you know anyone in the field, please do us solid and pass on the word about that job. At our street and solid waste division, we are hiring for general laborers and a solid waste person, hopefully with a CDL. And then at the library, it's a library part-time custodian and part-time library assistant. And then we are still interviewing, having conversations with folks around our IT coordinator role. As I said, I know it's supposed to be quite chilly this weekend, at least for half the weekend. I know Watertown Tourism has some nice events posted that local businesses are doing. And as a reminder, because I believe at least the public school system has no school on Monday, we are doing no school open pool. So the Watertown indoor pool will be open on Monday for use as well. So that's all that I have. Have a good weekend. We'll see you next week.